All right. Anabolic Academy, which is my favorite, even though it's the lowest views. It's my favorite series. It's only bodybuilding. So if you guys haven't seen it, go check out the interview of Sergio Oliva Jr. It is fantastic. He opens up about bodybuilding today. He opens about Dorian Yates, and he especially opens up about when he got arrested in Dubai. Tremendous interview. And also, oddly enough, I did it as a goof, but that stupid short I put out about when I tried smelling salts is like blowing up. I don't know. It's weird. But anyway, Anabolic Academy is when you guys send me questions about bodybuilding, fitness, or whatever you want to ask me, and I answer them. You could hit me up on Instagram, Serious and Silliness, Facebook, John Livia, TikTok, John Livia. Email me, Uncle John1201 at Gmail, John_Livia at Yahoo, and I will answer whatever question you throw at me. So why don't we get right into it? So, of course, my man, Fran is the man, sends me a whole bunch of questions every week. So we're going to start off with him. First question he wants to know is, what's my pick for the Super Bowl? Well, Fran, I'm not really a football guy. I never was. I tried a bunch of times. I mean, the only reason I'm going to pick Kansas City is because just seems like, I don't know, seems like the fix is in, put it that way. I mean, what happened with Detroit and this whole Taylor Swift nonsense, and I don't know, it just seems odd, seems off, doesn't seem legit. But what do I know? I don't know anything about football. That's just my guess. All right. Next question from Fran is the man. After the Sergio interview, did it scare you away from visiting Dubai? You know what scares me away from visiting Dubai? The fucking plane ride. Holy shit. Was it like 16 hours? There's no way in hell I'm getting on a plane for 16 hours. Unless somebody pays for me to go there. Like, let's say tomorrow, my YouTube channel blows up and everybody in Dubai wants to see John Livia from Serious and Silliness, and a sponsor pays me to go and pays for everything, then I'll consider it. But until then, fuck that. I'm not getting on the plane for 16 hours. But yeah, it's just a different, a lot of people don't realize how good we have it here. You go to another country like Dubai, and the smallest freedoms we have here, you don't have there. And we take advantage of it because we're so used to it here. And as a society, we really should start understanding how valuable our freedoms are here. Next question from Finals Man. Is it possible to get huge traps as a natty? Well, that's like any other body part, right? Like, even if you're not natty, you have to have genetically gifted traps. All things being equal, yeah, if you're genetically gifted, right? Like, look, I always had a great chest. Whether I was using anabolics or not, I always had a great chest. No matter what I did, it just grew. I'm sure there's people out there with great traps, and no matter what they do, movement, their traps grow, whether they're natural or not. That would be my only guess if that particular body part is genetically gifted. I mean, I've seen guys walking around with calves like bowling balls, and they've never lifted in their life, or a huge back. A guy. There was this guy, I'll never forget his name. Listen to this, and now I forgot his name. What the fuck was his name? Rodrigo. That was his name. It was huge. It wasn't really into it. He would work out here and there, but he really wasn't into it. As a matter of fact, when we were together, if they put us on a job together, I knew something heavy had to be moved, right? And he was just this big, I think, where was he from? Venezuela, I want to say. Some South American country. He was this big, burly guy. And him and I used to get along pretty well. And he was, he looked like just a monster. He was this big dude. And if you were behind him, his back looked like, a barn door. And he was just a big guy, So there are people out there that, have these huge traps or huge calves or huge back or huge arm, and it's just genetically gifted like that. That would be the only way. Now, if you tell me, like, if your body part is average and you want to be a bodybuilder and you need to bring up your traps and you have average genetics, it's obviously using anabolics is going to help, right? But I mean, that question's like kind of has a gray area. It's possible, but obviously using anabolics is going to help tremendously, Okay. Next question from Honest the Man. Will there ever be a bodybuilder in my lifetime, says your lifetime, me, my lifetime, that can surpass Ronnie's best ever Olympia physique? I don't think so. And that's what, 8 championships? I don't think so. 8 years, there's a lot of bodybuilders that don't last 8 years. And he was champ for 8 years. Do you know how taxing that is on a body? obviously you see what happens. So I mean, he trained like an animal. Don't get me wrong, but no, I don't think so. I don't think whether if it was political or whether clearly, in my opinion, he was the greatest bodybuilder that ever lived, Ronnie Coleman. But no, I don't think that's going to happen for a very, very, very long time. And I don't think I might be wrong. I might be dead wrong. It might be somebody that just blows everybody out of water by next year. And, you know, he's a freaking. But if I had to guess, I would say no. I think Ronnie was a tremendous, gifted bodybuilder that comes around maybe once in a lifetime, once every 100 years. You know what I mean? Like every once in a while, there's an athlete in a sport, and you go, "Wow, I'm never going to see something like that again." You know, Muhammad Ali. You know, Mike Tyson. Who else? Who was the pitcher on the Yankees? He was the closer. And then he was just rock solid. Just striked everybody out. He was just unbelievable. Mariano Rivera. Like you're never gonna see a guy. You know, there's Michael Jordan. And Ronnie's in that category. You know, Ronnie's in like that elite category of his own. That only it's almost unimaginable. You know. So no, I don't think there will be. But you never know. Okay, next question. What's the best, worst spots to do steroid injections? Well, the worst for me personally is in the leg. You have so many nerves in your leg. I know a lot of people put it in your leg, and you have so many nerves in your leg that it's painful. It's very uncomfortable, and a lot of times it gets knotted. You get a big red knot. And from what I understand, it never happened to me. From what I understand, apparently because of all the nerves in your leg, again, this is actually coming from Dave Palumbo RX Muscle. If you do get some kind of infection, it's very difficult for the antibiotics to help in the leg because of so much nerve, because there's so many nerves there. So I would not inject into the leg. I would check. Obviously, the best place to do is in your butt, right? Because it's just a big muscle and nobody's looking at your butt. If it lumps up a little bit, it's no big deal. That's obviously the best place. And then second best would be your shoulders. Yeah, so that's that. Next question, Ron is the man. Would you invite Ron Harris to your podcast again, or are you guys not in good terms? Well, I did actually invite him again. The last time I had spoke to Ron Harris was when muscular development, I had that falling out with muscular development. That time actually the New York Pro last year. But then what happened was they went out of business, and I messaged them and I wished them good luck. And I did actually invite him. I said, listen, you have an open invitation. And I did invite him. I was like, come on, we could talk about muscular development. We could talk about whatever you want to talk about. And he never got back to me. But I have no ill will against Ron Harris. Ron was just, in my situation, and I'm sure he was in many people's situation, he was just the in-between guy that had to take the heat from both sides. That's what he was. And it wasn't his fault. It really wasn't. Ron is a super nice guy. He doesn't have a fighter speed. He doesn't have much of a backbone. You know what I mean? Like, if it were me in his spot, I would be like, what are you doing to this guy? We told him he was going to be there. You don't get him a press pass. Of course he's annoyed. I'd be annoyed. But no, he's the kind of guy that doesn't want to ruffle any feathers and, that kind of thing. He's a very super nice guy, knows a lot about bodybuilding. He's a huge bodybuilding fan. He's an encyclopedia of bodybuilding. But no, I have no ill will. We did not leave off on bad terms, and I didn't invite him. Matter of fact, if he hits me up tomorrow and says, let's do a show together, yeah, no problem. All right. Next question from, all right, I'm going to spell this because I can't pronounce it. This is Instagram. AY Fairnot. Fairnot. I don't know. Okay. What would SARMS really do for me? All right. Here's my opinion on SARMS. People that do SARMS, in my opinion, are afraid to use, real anabolic steroids. They're the guy that's like, I just want to do Anavar and I don't want to inject myself. And if you don't want to do anabolic steroids, just because there's this gray area or something's in between and not in between, doesn't mean it's a better option. It just means it's lying in this gray area. Now, I don't know a lot about SARMs, and I never used them before, so I can't tell you what it's going to do to you. But in my opinion, if you're going to join the dark side, then I would use anabolic steroids. I would just use them smart. You don't have to. You don't have to use SARMs. You don't have to use anabolics. You can stay natural and do the best of what you got with what you have. There's plenty of great supplements to use natural, right? Of course, there's creatine and there's proteins and there's glutamine and there's a whole bunch of great subs that will help. that's how I look at SARMS. I look at SARMS as like, I want to do anabolic steroids, but I'm afraid. So let me do this stuff that's in this gray area. And you know, it's not as bad for you. And that's not necessarily true. I mean, there's a shit ton of research done about anabolic steroids because it goes back before World War II, I believe, right? Somewhere around World War II or something like that. And there is obviously not as much research done with SARMs because it's a relatively new compound, from what I understand. Again, I never did a whole bunch of research or so on and so forth, but that's how I look at SARMs. So do I think it'll help you? I don't really know. My attitude is like, don't be offensive. Don't swim in this lane where you think it's safe, right? If you want to do something, do it. But if you don't have to. It's no big deal. If you're a natural bodybuilder and you like going to the gym and you like working, it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? And that's my attitude. I don't know. You know, if I would rather you see you go to a clinic, get your blood work tested. If you have the money to spend, get your blood work tested. You know, you use you know, prescription growth hormone, prescription testosterone, and you probably see a hell of a lot more, and whatever other, you know, peptides they have to use and so on and so forth. And you probably see, and you're monitored by a doctor. They monitor your blood work. They're licensed to have these prescriptions, you know, prescribed to you. I'd rather see you do that than jump into something in this gray area where not a lot of people use or know much about. And that's my attitude. That's my attitude. Then again, what the hell do I know? I'm just a fucking idiot with a microphone here. All right. Next question. Fran is the man. Are deep tissue massages beneficial for bodybuilding? Yes, I went once and I will never go again because it hurts like a motherfucker. I thought I was going to get a rub down and I was in pain. Fuck this shit. But from what I understand, yes. From what I understand, it really massages the muscle tissue, loosens it up, and you're able to, you know, grow and recover better and so on and so forth. That's why you always see these guys in massage places getting professionally massaged. I like the other massage places. You know what I mean? Anyway. All right. Next question from Fran is the man. Thoughts on intra-workout drinks like BCAAs, EAAs? Is a scam a bunch of them? It's only good if you're not taking enough protein. If you're taking in plenty of protein, there's no reason to take branched chain amino acids because that's what protein is. That's what protein is. When you break it down, that's what they are. They're amino acids. So if you're not taking in enough protein and you want to take a intra BCAA, then, you know, that's fine. Or you want to drink one after a workout or before or during the day, if you're not taking enough protein, that's fine. But if you're taking in enough protein, like if you're eating, you know, 6 meals a day and, you know, you're eating enough protein and you're taking in shakes, and there's really no reason to take branched chain amino acids. Next question from Chaz, the direct tone. Oh, Chaz. Oh, I know Chaz. Okay. What compounds did you like for drying out last 3 or 4 weeks, oral versus oil injected? All right. Excuse me. The last contest I did 3 or 4 weeks, obviously, was on using Tren, Halotestin, Masteron. Obviously, I always like Sustanon. I always use Sus. And Turinabol. That's what I was on. I know it seems like a lot, which it was a lot, to be honest with you. And obviously growth. But to dry out, the compounds that I use is Tren, Masteron, Turinabol. I was not using Winnie. I wasn't using Winnie. I think I used Winnie once for one contest, but most of the time it was Tren and Turinabol and Masteron would be the last. Oh, and Halotestin was the last couple of few weeks before a contest. That's what it would be. All right, that concludes Anabolic Academy. Now, make sure you tune in to Muscle Talk because we all know Nick Walker is doing the New York Pro, but my friend and professional bodybuilder Dorian Haywood messaged me and said he's doing the New York Pro too. So that'll be a really good showdown. And Dorian has made great strides. I truly believe 2024 is going to be Dorian's best year. I think he is going to be able to catch the judges' eyes because he has everything a bodybuilder needs. He has to come in a little bit harder. Now he's under everybody's radar and people know who he is. And I think he's going to give Nick a run for his money. So we're going to hear from him directly. I would love for everybody to tune in to Muscle Talk when it comes out. Like, share, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you get all the content that this guy, John Livia, is giving to you about bodybuilding, fitness, and whatever else in the bodybuilding world. All right, everybody, have a good night. Later. Peace. And I'm sure there's people out there like I mean, I'm sure this brother, apologize. I had not spoken to him until then. When they went, is that? Get rid of that, please. Edit that out. Okay. He's just doesn't have, scratch that.